20 million people should get vaccinated in just the next several weeks.
The FDA advisory panel gives the green light to the Pfizer vaccine. In an attempt to slow a second wave of the virus, indoor dining is closing again in New York City.
The Diocese of Brooklyn's Christmas tree has officially been lit, and this year directly underneath is a special sculpture perfect for the Diocese of Immigrants. I'm Emily Druby. That's coming up.
When my time does come, I'm sure that I won't have to fear. Born in original.
Plus, an original song by students inspired by Carlo Acutis, the first millennial on the path to sainthood. This special edition of Currents News starts right now. Hello, I'm Christine Persichetti, and welcome to this special edition of Currents News, highlighting the week's top stories important to the Catholic community. We begin with an annual tradition in the Brooklyn Diocese, the lighting of the Christmas tree at Grand Army Plaza. And as Currents News' Emily Druby shows us, there's a special addition to this year's display.
3, 2, 1. Hey!
15,000 lights and 35 feet tall. The Diocese of Brooklyn's Christmas tree lights up Grand Army Plaza, a holiday tradition even the pandemic cannot stop.
It's so good that we've done it. We've got to keep the Christmas spirit, even though we can't do it the way we used to.
Some things the same, but others different this Christmas season. Social distancing, safety measures, masks, but also a brand new addition. A sculpture, a unique take on the nativity scene normally below the tree. It's called Angels Unawares. First seen in St. Peter's Square, it depicts the plight of migrants and refugees. Now it calls the Diocese of Immigrants its temporary home. The 140 carved faces all together on one boat. Among them are Joseph, Mary, and Jesus.
We recognize that the Holy Family also fled as refugees to save the life of the child. So many people today have to do the same thing, to save the lives of themselves and their children. So it opens our hearts to others, and that's what Christmas is about.
The piece is from Catholic artist Timothy Schmaltz. It's the second casting, a replica of the one Pope Francis blessed at the Vatican. The Ladouceur family graciously helped bring it to the Diocese of Brooklyn.
It's a beautiful expression of, hope and protection, of course, the angel.
Another hope that both the powerful sculpture and the massive tree can bring comfort and joy to what has been a difficult year for many.
People are depressed, people are down, and this gives us hope that we're all together and we can overcome anything when we work together and we see ourselves all in the same boat.
Mayor Bill de Blasio making it clear that this isn't the first way the Diocese of Brooklyn has helped to ease the suffering of New Yorkers.
In the middle of this crisis, the Diocese of Brooklyn was there for them, and Bishop DiMarzio and his whole team really provided tremendous comfort for people in need.
Applauding the Diocese and DeSales Media Group, the parent company for Net TV, for their work in hosting this event and helping to provide food, masks, and other necessities this year. Both the tree and the sculpture will remain here until the first week of January. At Grand Army Plaza, Emily Druby, Currents News.
Ahead of the statue's blessing, Currents News had an exclusive interview with the artist, Canadian sculptor Timothy Schmaltz. He explains the important message behind the statue.
It's a very discreet message that we're all sacred. Hebrews 13:2, be welcoming to strangers. Many have entertained angels unaware.
The statue will continue touring the country, eventually ending at its permanent home on the Catholic University campus. Mayor Bill de Blasio was so impressed with the diocese display, he took time at his daily briefing on Wednesday to speak about it.
The tree itself is spectacular and a joyous reminder of the Christmas season and the holiday season and why we remember in this season to be there for each other. There's also an extraordinary sculpture, which I urge everyone to go see.
Mayor de Blasio also said the Angels Unaware statue is an amazing tribute to immigrants and what they mean to New York City. Indoor dining in New York City will be suspended indefinitely beginning on Monday. Governor Andrew Cuomo made the announcement Friday, blaming a rise in COVID hospitalizations and positivity rates.
In New York City, you put the CDC caution on indoor dining together with the rate of transmission and the density and the crowding, that is a bad situation.
Takeout, delivery, and outdoor dining will continue, but there's no timeline for reopening indoors. Many restaurant owners fear this may be a death knell for their businesses. On Thursday, the U.S. broke the single-day record for COVID deaths and cases. Over 3,100 Americans died, and close to 230,000 new infections were reported. This comes on the same day that Pfizer's vaccine got the go-ahead for emergency use from a Food and Drug Administration panel of independent experts. From the FDA to the CDC, where a committee there must also give the vaccine a green light. And if that happens,
20 million people should get vaccinated in just the next several weeks.
So here's how Pfizer-BioNTech says it'll happen. Within 24 hours of the FDA's emergency authorization, much of the vaccine will be shipped from Pfizer's facility in Kalamazoo, Michigan. First, going to hospitals and pharmacies nationwide that partnered with the federal government. Next, healthcare workers and residents in long-term care facilities are at the top of the list to get the vaccine. But that timeline could depend on which state you live in. Take Illinois, for example.
Yes, there are a lot of people in that priority group, and yes, we want to make sure we get it to you, but no, it won't happen on day one or week one or maybe even week two. So patience will be the name of the game.
So for younger, relatively healthy, non-essential workers,
end of March, early April. Once you get into April, probably full blast with those individuals.
some details are still being ironed out, but the goal is to make it as simple as getting a seasonal flu shot.
They'll come in at their scheduled time. They'll meet with the pharmacist or technician. They'll get a record card with the vaccination that they got. We'll also email them that record.
A CDC advisory committee is expected to vote on Sunday whether to recommend Pfizer's vaccine. If they vote in favor of it, it's the last step needed before shots can go into arms. The Trump administration carried out its 9th federal execution in what is the first in a series of executions during a presidential lame duck period in 130 years. 40-year-old Brandon Bernard was part of a Texas street gang involved in the murders of married youth ministers in 1999. A number of high-profile people unsuccessfully appealed to President Trump to commute his sentence, and the Supreme Court denied a request for a stay of execution, clearing the way for his death by lethal injection. 4 more federal executions are planned in the weeks before projected winner Joe Biden's inauguration. 2 leading American bishops are calling on the Trump administration to stop federal executions during Advent. Archbishop Paul Coakley, who heads the U.S. Bishops' Committee on Domestic Justice, and Archbishop Joseph Naumann, who leads their group on pro-life activities, issuing a statement that says in part, "This Advent, the Lord comes to love us even though we don't deserve it. Let us repent and embrace his gift. We call on President Trump and Attorney General Barr in recognition of God's unmerited gift of self-giving love. Stop these executions." 17 states are now joining a Texas lawsuit aimed at delaying the appointment of presidential electors from 4 battleground states. The Texas Attorney General filed a lawsuit with the Supreme Court. The suit says Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin acted unconstitutionally when they changed election laws that they claim diluted or eliminated safeguards against fraud. Attorneys general from the other states filed a brief with the high court supporting that. The Trump campaign also filed a brief asking to join the Texas suit. Hunter Biden has acknowledged that he is under a grand jury investigation over his, quote, tax affairs. Meanwhile, the 50-year-old's dealings with the Chinese, outlined in a Senate investigation, reportedly have been flagged for potential criminal activity. The report by the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee details Biden's alleged activities with the founder of a Chinese energy company. Some Republicans are calling for a special counsel to handle the investigation, fearing that those prosecutors will be in line to be fired next month if Joe Biden becomes president. Over at the Vatican, the Holy Father is busy planning to go to Iraq in March. This will be his first international trip since the pandemic began. Pope Francis is going there to support the small Christian minority in the country. The Vatican has officially confirmed that Pope Francis will visit Iraq in 2021 from March 5th to the 8th. This is a trip the Holy Father has been trying to make for some time. In 2019, he stated that he wanted to go there.
Un pensiero insistente mi accompagna pensando all'Iraq, dove ho la volontà di andare il prossimo anno.
The pontiff will visit Baghdad, Erbil, Karakash, and Mosul, the city where ISIS killed hundreds of innocent people.
Questa crudeltà ci fa piangere, lasciandoci senza parola.
Pope Francis will also fulfill one of John Paul II's dreams by visiting the ancient city of Ur, Abraham's homeland. The Pope's predecessor wanted to go on a pilgrimage there in 1999, but was unable to visit. The negotiations were long and the trip was postponed. Some years later, the U.S. invasion of Iraq brought everything to a standstill. This is the first trip announced during the pandemic. The Vatican has indicated that the trip schedule will be published in due time and will take into account the current health emergency and the state of the country. The Pope met with the president of Iraq at the Vatican last January. According to the Holy See press office, they spoke about preserving the historical presence of Christians in Iraq and guaranteeing their security. There's a lot more news headed your way. An accomplished chef dedicates her life to helping feed the hungry. How her inspiring story is making a difference. Blessed Carlo Acutis, the Italian teen beatified in October, inspired a group of Catholic high school students to write that song. And the bishop's annual luncheon to raise money for scholarships goes virtual, streaming live from Annunciation Church in Williamsburg. She gave up a career as a professional chef to feed the hungry. Now, St. John's Bread and Life's Director of Emergency Food is working hard to battle the record high numbers of people who are suffering with food insecurity during this pandemic. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has her story.
Millicent Soros is always pushing to do more. As the Director of Emergency Food at St. John's Bread and Life, she brings an unwavering drive to everything she does.
I've always been drawn to feeding people. There's something very intimate about feeding people, and that was always sort of my point of view in working in restaurants. I'm gonna pull those hamburgers off and put them in the freezer.
Millicent is a professionally trained chef, but she ditched her white coat for a Bread and Life sweatshirt. As a chef, she aimed to please the palates of her wealthy customers, but these days, palates of a different kind are one of her biggest concerns.
We have figured out how to maximize space in this building. Our chapel holds pallets. Our old pantry waiting area holds pallets. Our old dining room is where we put pantry bags and pallets.
Inside the Bedford-Stuyvesant soup kitchen, pallets of food are everywhere.
This whole area can hold 22 pallets.
Though Bread and Life feeds thousands of people a day, the pandemic has taken food insecurity to unimaginable heights. A mountain Millicent climbs every day.
Food right now to me is like how we can be the most efficient place so that we can serve more people because the numbers keep going up.
Thank you. Bread and Life has served more meals than ever before this year, and it's on track to serve more than 1 million in 2021.
The week after that,
for Millicent, her work isn't giving back. It's helping others move forward.
Seeing other people get involved in a real way, not just like, we're going to volunteer on Thanksgiving, but like in a real, actual way. The New York Nourish Grant.
Leading by example is what she's known for.
She really has a way about her that she gets people involved and committed because she really felt called to do this kind of work.
Millicent gave up a career of feeding few to feed many.
There's so many people who know the work that has to happen, and to be able to switch it up and change to meet the needs is incredible.
And she's never looked back. In Bedford-Stuyvesant, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
A teenage boy made headlines around the world when he was beatified just weeks ago. Carlo Acutis, one step closer to becoming the first millennial saint. His story reached students on Long Island, inspiring them to follow their own God-given talents. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has more.
I've always had him in
From the mouth of a blessed into the hearts of these singers, Carlo Acutis, the teenager who was beatified in October, inspired this song. It's called Born an Original. The lyrics are made up of his own words, brought to life again.
He was their age when he passed, and so his legacy was in 15 years.
Teresa Marino, the campus minister at Holy Trinity Diocesan High School in Hicksville, Long Island, and two of her students, Bryce Ridley and Luca DiGregoli, composed the song in a week.
Be in the bass.
With faith shining through their talent, the song has taken on a different meaning for each of them.
It said something amongst the lines of, people are born as original, but died as photocopies. And I found that interesting because it kind of inspired me to take my life and do something original with it.
Blessed Carlo Acutis died of leukemia in 2006. His first miracle was saving a Brazilian boy who suffered from a rare disease. But it was the work he did on earth that makes him relatable to these high school seniors.
Writing a song about him, it definitely gave me more of an insight on why he had the connection he did with God, and it kind of encouraged me to do the same.
If this guy was around, I'd be friends with him. That's what I think makes it once in a lifetime for me.
That's really very reflective.
Teresa says she's seen her students strengthen their relationships with God at a time in life when many stray away.
Making God really present in the life of a teenager. That's like what we're all here to do if we're in the business of Catholic school.
In the next few weeks, the group will record Born an Original and make it available to stream online. They're also hoping to get it to Carlo Acutis' family to let them know just how far his legacy has reached. In Hicksville, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
I'm gonna stay.
And be sure to stay with us. We'll play even more of Born an Original at the end of this newscast. Bishop DiMarzio is inspiring his flock to help kids this Christmas.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining.
This was the first time the bishop's annual luncheon went virtual, live streaming from Annunciation Church in Williamsburg instead of the usual in-person gathering at Russo's on the Bay. The event still raising money for the Bishop's Scholarship Fund and youth evangelization, so less fortunate kids in the diocese can still receive the best education money can buy from Catholic schools. The Tablet newspaper is looking for some creative kids this holiday season. The annual Christmas art contest is on this year. The event, held in collaboration with the Knights of Columbus, will be digital. Students in grades 1st through 12th in Brooklyn and Queens are invited to express their faith through art with the theme, Keep Christ in Christmas. So if your child is interested, they can send their artwork to thetablet.org/2020 art contest. Remember, this is a digital art contest, so no physical artwork will be accepted at the Tablet's office. One more thing, Wednesday, January 13th is the deadline, so you have to submit those works of art before 5 p.m. that day. Still to come on Currents News, how the diocese is changing its celebration of the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe this year because of the pandemic. And Catholic Charities of Brooklyn and Queens is making sure all kids in the diocese have a Merry Christmas. Do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@DeSale. The faithful flocking to the Basilica of Guadalupe in Mexico City ahead of this weekend's closure. The pandemic prompting the Catholic Church to close the Basilica from Thursday to Sunday to avoid crowds that gather for Our Lady of Guadalupe's feast day on December 12th. Virtual festivities are being held this year to celebrate the 489th anniversary of the apparition of the Virgin. And Pope Francis has granted a plenary indulgence to Catholics celebrating the feast day at home. In order to receive the indulgence, you must first prepare a home altar in honor of Our Lady of Guadalupe. You have to watch a live stream mass from the Basilica on Saturday. Then, once it's possible to do so, you have to go to confession, receive communion, and pray for the Pope's intentions. Here in the Brooklyn Diocese, the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe will be marked with a special Mass on Saturday at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph. The day's events will include a special tribute to Father Jorge Ortiz Garay, the beloved pastor of St. Bridget's Church in Bushwick, who died of COVID-19. Attendance at this year's program and Mass will be limited to 3 people per parish because of COVID restrictions, and there will not be a torch-lit pilgrimage throughout the diocese as in years past. Instead, only one symbolic torch will be lit after the Mass ends. Be sure to tune in to Currents News on Monday for full coverage of the event. Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens coming to the rescue of many in need this holiday, spreading some Christmas cheer. The organization is holding a toy drive to make sure children in the Diocese of Brooklyn have a Merry Christmas. Currents News' Jessica Easthope reports from Our Lady of Angels in Bay Ridge.
Holiday Barbie! Boxes of toys came flooding in at Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens' first ever toy drive.
These gifts are so great.
In years past, Catholic Charities collected toys from other groups and distributed them during the Christmas season. This year, they're taking charge, and all the toys they can get.
For the children to still believe that there is a Christmas, so more than ever, we really need to be there for our community.
Nearly 900,000 New Yorkers are unemployed this Christmas.
Thank you.
Those who came Thursday with toys for kids of all ages said giving back is more important than ever before.
It has been so hard. So many people are in despair. We need a little bit of Christmas.
This pandemic has made such a difference, and that's what we're here for.
A single box of toys was nearly full when Tammy Rivera, a representative from the New York City Council of Carpenters, came with a truckload of boxes.
Those that can't do it for their family, we're here to help do it for their family.
Catholic Charities Brooklyn and Queens is hoping to have toys for more than 2,000 kids this year. The first distribution is on December 17th in Rego Park at Our Lady of the Angelus Church. In Bay Ridge, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
And that is this special edition of Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. We leave you right now with your faith put into song as the students from Holy Trinity High School play more of Born an Original dedicated to Blessed Carlo Acutis. Hope to see you again next time.
Lord, you my highway to heaven. In you I trust. Something extraordinary awaits us. My hope comes from you. That's how I'm going.